Now we're about to get this show started. Angel is an author, an inspirational conversationalist who tells stories the way real conversations happen. Her stories explore identity, womanhood, faith, and the quiet moments where wisdom shows up unannounced. Storytelling is the way she makes meaning out of what she's lived. Her stories invite, connect, they may make you reflect, but most importantly, she wants people to know that they are not alone. Please welcome to Tales and L's stage for the first time, Miss Angel Charmaine.
My mama used to say, baby, don't take nothing from no man. They gonna always want something in return. And she said it with such conviction, like it was a rule, like it was something I needed to remember. She said it like words matter. And like those words would matter. And so, as a little girl, I learned those words. I learned to live those words. So much so that when I was a little girl growing up in the projects of Savannah, Georgia, in a place called Garden Homes, I couldn't have been any more than knee-high to an ant. Standing on a stool in front of the kitchen sink, probably about 6 or 7 years old, washing dishes with washing powder. Now, I don't know about y'all. But during those days, I had no clue as a little girl that there was actually dishwashing liquid for dishes. We cleaned everything with washing powder. And I would stand on that little stool and wash dishes and rinse dishes and dry dishes, and I learned how to take care of myself. I learned how to take care of my brothers. I learned how to take care of a house. You know, one thing I learned as I've gotten older is that there are far too many little black girls who learn how to be women before they learn how to be ladies. And so I learned how to take care of myself. Fast forward. I'm in my 20s now. And listen, I used to be a brick house, y'all. I'm more like a stucco now, but I was fine. I had my first baby at 22 years old, my senior year in college. And by the time I was 24, I was married to an amazing man who just loved me. Y'all, that man loved my dirty drawers, okay? By the time I was 28, I was a school teacher. I was a wife. I was the mother of 4 beautiful, bouncing baby boys. And I knew how to take care of everything and everybody. But what I didn't know how to do was to let anybody take care of me. Once we got married, my husband's friends, they all seem to want to get married after the fact. It works like that sometimes. It just takes one of them to jump. And then they all want to get married then. His best friend met this beautiful woman in Texas. And so my husband and I decided we were going to take this long road trip from Augusta, Georgia to Houston, Texas to this wedding. And we got on the road and we just drove, and it was so freeing and fun. And we were so in love. And we got to Texas and we got to our hotel room. And there was nothing grandiose about it, but it was magnificent because we were there and we were together. You know, had the same pale walls with the patterned carpet that's in most hotel rooms. And we got there and we jumped on the bed, kicked our shoes off. The luggage was over in the corner. We didn't touch it, didn't do anything. And we had been listening to something, I can't remember if it was the television or maybe it was a radio show we were listening to. I don't know. But we got on the discussion of relationships. And out of nowhere, I said, you know, I don't need you. And for a moment, I saw his face. Something in the room changed. The air shifted a bit. But I kept talking, and I was trying to get him to understand. I don't need you. I want you. I care about you. I can take care of myself. You know, and I'm just saying, I don't need you. And he looked at me. He didn't argue. He didn't get defensive. Actually, he didn't say anything. So I just kept talking. And we got dressed and we went to the wedding and we had a great time and we danced and we laughed and we loved on each other and it was just beautiful. Years later, I was in graduate school and I came home. It was in the springtime. I believe it was somewhere in the middle of March. And that particular day, I was just tired. See, the boys had grown up. They were toddlers running around. I was the busy school teacher, working on a specialist degree, being a wife, the church lady, all the things. I was exhausted. And I walked into the house, and my husband, he was in the room. Now, you all had to understand, I told y'all I was laying on my dirty drawers, okay? So anytime I walk in the house, he in the room, y'all already know what that means. So I go into the room, and he's ready. And I say, no, I don't want to. And he looks at me, and then I say, and you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm not doing anything ever again that I don't want to do. And he looked at me and he said, Angel, do you know what you just said? I said, yeah. And then he said, do you know who you saying it to? And I said, my husband. And we began to kind of go back and forth for a little bit until he said, So what do we do about this? And the little girl on the inside of the woman who learned to take care of herself, who felt like she was suffocating. She looked her husband square in the eyes and she said, I guess we should get a divorce then. And what I learned some years later is that although he obliged that sunny afternoon in March, all he really wanted was his wife. But he obliged because he also wanted me to be happy. And he didn't think I would actually go through with it. But I did. And I can't remember how many times throughout the years that I had said, I don't need you. But in that moment, I felt like I didn't. And I think about that sometimes, and I don't share these two stories. I don't really put them together, these two moments. I never really thought about them working hand in hand. Oh, but they did. And although I can't really remember how many times I told the man who made me a wife, who made me a mother, who loved my dirty draws, that I didn't need him, when what I really meant to say was, I just don't want to owe you.